and I hope you guys like it as much as I do. So, first off, how am I qualified to teach you guys about anything? Let's first help you guys get to know me. My name is Allie. I really like eating tomatoes. I know it's a controversial thing, but I think they taste delicious. I like to draw, but I hate coloring, and you can see that evidence in my flowing, beautiful self-portrait. And I think like the majority of the people who came up here have like a lot of awards, so let's pretend like I have an award too, and if I can just get like a round of applause about it, like, oh, thank you, oh, you didn't have to do that. Anyway, and I have been a proud member of ColorVision since 3 weeks ago. Now, what exactly are aspect ratios? Put simply, they're the black lines on your screen. They can be side to side, they can be up and down, they can be big, they can be small, they can even be, you can even see them on my intro with these like black lines. Or they can straight up just be a black screen. I'm messing with you, they can't be a black screen, they're the bars on the side of the screen. But seriously, what's all aspect ratios? Well, according to StudioBinder.com, an aspect ratio is a relationship between the width and height of an image. It's usually written as two numbers separated by color, as in 69. It can also be written as an X between the numbers. But for today's purposes, we're just going to define them as a framing device which splits what's inside the scene from what's outside the scene. And typically, as you can see in both these examples, all characters and things will live inside of it, backgrounds. And I also want to refer to manga this, so we're just going to find that as the boxes, the black lines that create the boxes of the panels. But disclaimer, this isn't the actual definition of an aspect ratio, as you can see from earlier. This is just the closest word I could find to the concept I wanted to teach you guys. So take everything I say with a word of salt, and don't quote me on any of it. Thanks! Okay, so first, why are we learning about aspect ratios? Well, for one thing, the black bars are a largely untapped creative tool not many film or industry tend to use. For example, by increasing their size, they can help the artist direct the audience's focus in a scene towards the themes and or expressions they want to convey. However, if you instead decrease them, it can allow the audience to take a step back and to give them space. Typically, you'll see this used in landscapes when you see characters being introduced into their setting. It helps to acquaint them. For example, we're going to use one of my favorite animes, Darling in the Franxx. And for context, all you need to know are these two characters, Hiro and Zurutsu. And both of them are child soldiers raised in a facility which they're trapped in and must protect. In the scene, as they're talking, Zurutsu speaks about how there are no skies or oceans where they live. And as you can see when she says it's isolated on a one-way street to nowhere, a dead end of life, the aspect ratios like come in before they work. It one helps the audience to focus in on what she's saying, but secondly, it also creates a sense of claustrophobia that enforces the point of they're stuck here, they're trapped here, it's not somewhere they can escape from. And you see this scene throughout the rest of the scene as they talk until eventually, when wanting the characters to take a step back, they disappear. However, I do want to point out, randomly zooming in or zooming out in fast succession to each other for no apparent reason will instead confuse the audience and can actually take away from the point you're trying to make. So let's go over some creative ways to use aspect ratios using some fun examples. Yay! Okay, so in our first example, we're going to be talking about how aspect ratios can be used to express character emotions through an anime called 86. And just for context, you need to know the main character Shin and one of his comrades, Lena. After a war, Shin has fought and he believes all his comrades have died. He feels that everyone will eventually leave him and he feels constantly alone. To illustrate this, in a sort of psychotic dream he has, the aspect ratios literally manifest into his inner demons, telling him to kill himself. You have nothing to protect, no reason to live, none. The darkness of it represents the dark thoughts in his head that he can't escape from. And you can see this telling him just to die. And he's not only with everyone else within the bounds of the show. He exists outside of the conventions of the screen, where everyone else sits inside. As he reaches towards them, the aspect ratio literally cuts his arm off, just to reinforce he can't get to them. As they slowly go, as they're leaving him behind, he reaches toward them as they slowly disappear. Later on, when waking up from his lucid dream, he sees one of his comrades, Lena. After believing everyone is dead, it opens his eyes that maybe he's not alone. And you can see the fact she's not only breaking through his boundaries, shown, and it's shown through the way the show is predicted, as she literally steps over the aspect ratio into the area which he exists, which no one else could, which you can see here again. And then as his darker thoughts turn lighter, you can see that represented in the aspect ratio with those turning white, representing a change of mind in him. Isn't this so fun, guys? And then eventually his literal barriers, which kept him separated from everyone else, is illustrated in the fact that they disappear. The aspect ratios literally disappear from the show, and he is no longer alone. He does not feel alone, and it's shown in the show. Okay, now moving on to our second example, we're going to be talking about how it can be used to create a sense of otherworldliness. And just for context, in this scene, our main character Aki is fighting a sword demon. He draws upon the power of his sword, which has the ability to manifest powers from this curse devil. And to show the fact that the curse devil is so otherworldly and above it, it's literally drawn outside the ball again. It breaks the conventions of what is typically considered like a normal monster. And so it just illustrates it to make it feel more like otherworldly, I guess? Something along those lines. And lastly, I'm not quite sure what to call this, but Who Does Engage is a YouTube series just about two guys on the run, and they use aspect ratios very creatively through the show in many different ways, which I just want to illustrate. So let's just show you guys their intro. Is it playing? There we go. So as you can see in their intro, they use almost everything I talked about, focusing, transitioning. It's even used to show just where to focus. And I just wanted to also point out a few more examples from the show, which I got here in just some fun ways I thought they use it. Starting with, in this scene where a gun is being fired, you can see the aspect ratios close in, and by closing in on the back and so the characters are the only things you see, you're forced to focus on the characters and their expressions. It also helps to zoom in. It's pretty cool effect. Second is this scene where they're fighting, and as you can see, this one character is literally breaking through the aspect ratios into the different, it's shown as the buildings, and you can see them breaking through the ratios, which is pretty cool representation. And lastly is this scene where one character